Hi, I'm Ray of Sunshine. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to introduce myself, first of all, by telling you why I chose Ray of Sunshine for my name. And I've been thinking about it for a while, and I was hesitant because it's kind of maybe overused, but maybe I'm thinking corny. But, the more I thought about it, I really like Ray of Sunshine. First of all, because I resonate with the concept. Who doesn't like rays of sunshine? And who doesn't like ray of sunshine? So who doesn't like to be liked? So ray of sunshine, number one, you like me, right? Because you like my name. And number two is, maybe a little later today, a week from now, a couple of months from now, you might be thinking about something. That I like what that Ray had to say on that video. I wonder if he has any other videos that I might find interesting. So you just have to put in Ray of Sunshine. And I don't even have to train. I got you already trained to remember that. So that'll make me easy to find because you're going to want to see some of my other videos. I'm going to get better at this. That's what happens. I've done a lot of different things over the course of my life. And they weren't always comfortable at first, but there was something inside of me, some kind of a drive, some kind of a push, some kind of a intuition that this is what I'd like to do. This is what I could be good at. This is what would make me happy. And so I've done a lot of things over the course of my life that made me happy. And that was all stuff that I kind of felt was inside of me. But it didn't mean that, I was an expert day one, although I was pretty good. But I'm just kidding. I was pretty good at a lot of the things that I did, but it took some practice to get good at it. And I always enjoyed it. But one of the questions I always had about that is, where does this stuff come from? The first one of the first long-term positions I had was with a family business. It was in the printing business, and I went into the graphic arts part of it. And well, I had always done good with the nuns and priests. I went to all of those kind of schools. Anyway, I had done very good back in those years with artsy kind of things, and I was in the drama club, and I was an artsy type of person. So I did very good, like in drawing class and stuff like that. But the reason I at least I think good, I think I did good, but I felt good. That was the most important thing. I felt good about it. I felt good about doing it. I felt good about the final product. I felt good about, hey Ray, that looks great. I felt good about the A plus. I felt good about a lot of things. So it was kind of natural for me when I went into graphic design. I already had a knack for it. But starting with that, starting in school, wondering about how come, I used to wonder about things like that. How come some people are so good at some things and some people are not so good, but they're good at other things? And I can think of a lot of, I'm good at some things. I'm not good at some things. And I'll tell you right now, I used to not be good at making YouTube videos. But now, as you can see, I'm an expert, or I'm working on becoming an expert because I'm not giving up. And I started a few weeks ago with this urge or this nudge, something inside of me, something outside of me. I'm getting messages from everywhere that you need to, do something, express yourself, discover who you are, make some changes. And so I think, I know that one of the reasons it took me so long to get going on making my videos, I do have one other video. This is my second video, which is going to be published. I think they call it published. I'm new with the YouTube lingo, but published. I think I'm going to publish it on June 10th, which is my birthday, coming up in just a few days. And I may not wait till then because I may not be able to wait. I have trouble waiting. I don't have a whole lot of patience for things like that. So that's kind of like my goal, but I understand when I make a goal like that who knows what could happen, right? I could publish this later today, but I'm shooting for June 10th. Realistically, I don't know, today's something like the 6th. Realistically, you might see it on the 8th or the 9th, right? Because I'm going to have a couple of other videos made by then as well. So what I want to do today mostly is introduce myself. I thought a good way to do it, let me just show you around this room that I'm in real quick. This is my sanctuary, and there's, lots of different kinds of items all over the place. Sorry that it's not too steady there. I'm using my my iPhone because I've tried lots of other ways to make the videos, and they weren't working out for me. I have a laptop. I tried different programs online. I looked into different kind of editing stuff. None of that's resonating with me. This is kind of working out. So this is it. This is what you get. And I figured I would start right over here in this section. There's a couple of items up front here. This is a candle and a tile, and those were made for me by my niece Carmen, and she's an artist. You can see she's very good at it, and she made me these designs. This is one of my favorite designs ever. But you can see it's astrological, the sun and the moon. I have lots of suns and moons everywhere. There's one. There's one. I hope I'm focusing in okay. Anyway, there's suns and moons and all kinds of planetary things all over the place, and you'll see some of that as we go. I'm going to show you around, because just by showing you some of this stuff, well, first of all, I don't think I told you this yet. If I did, this is the second time you're going to hear it. I'm not going to say every single item there, show you I really like this, because if it's in this room, I really like it. So that all goes without saying. So I really like these. That's from my niece Carmen. She gave them to me for a gift, and I've had them for a long time, and I love them. So that's me. That's the back of me, and that picture goes back maybe at least 12, 13 years, and as you can see, I've gotten a lot younger since then. So that's why I put that picture up, just keep reminding me that I keep getting younger. And that's another thing we're going to be talking about in some of the other videos. But, I can't go into depth on some of these things right now. I'm introducing you to some of these people who are going to tell you also some of the things you need to know about me. So this used to be a greeting card, and I have framed it. And it says, there's a circle of caring all around you. And there's a U, which is in, I don't know if it's a sun or a moon, but it's one of those for sure. And I loved that. And that was given to me. I have a friend named Claire, a good friend of mine, and I've known her since back in the 1970s. So that was a long time ago that we met, and then kind of split up. She moved to different parts of the country and that sort of thing. But then 40 years later, she moved back, and when she did, and when I finally realized we were both living in the same town, I invited her over for dinner, and she gave me that card when she came over on that first night, which was like about a week after we had reconnected. And there's a lot of things I could tell you about her, and I will as time goes on, as I will about a lot of these people that I'll be introducing you to, especially this guy here. There's a guy from Egypt with the candles, and those belonged to my husband Sid. And Sid passed away in 2015, but we were together for 17 years, and I had given him that for a gift. He loved Egypt and Egyptians, and he liked, all kinds of creatures. He was abducted by aliens several times. And I got lots and lots of stories. 17 years of stories with Sid, plus, I'll get into that in a time. So here's my Phoenix Rising. And that's important symbolism for me. The phoenix rising from the ashes, and I'm a Scorpio. The Phoenix Rising is heavily. I'm a Scorpio rising. I'm a Gemini. June 10th. I think I told you that already, right? That's when this video maybe is coming out. June 10th on my birthday, because that's the day that I'm exploding into me. 100% me. I've been working on it for a long time. And it felt like it wasn't working out. But the processes that we go through are the processes that we have to go through. And I went through a lot of processes. I'm going to tell you about a lot of them. And, they're not difficult. So, I mean, they're difficult. And I had some that were more difficult than others. And that's one part of life. And the other part of life is loving it. And that's why I named this video. If you went up to somebody, I hope I don't repeat myself. I've already done, parts of this taping, and I think maybe it was the last one I talked about this. Anyway, if I'm repeating it again, I'm repeating it again. Right? Get over it. So, and I'm going to constantly lose track of what I'm talking about. I'll get back to it at some point. Believe me, because it's important. Some of this stuff is important. It's about a lot of the stuff that's what I was talking about. I wanted to tell you, if you went up to somebody and you said, how's life? And they said, well, it's great. I've learned a lot about loving and I love living. Well, what more could you want, right? And I feel the same way. That's how my life is. My life wasn't always that way, and when I used to talk about it not being that way, is especially when it wasn't that way. And so now I talk about it being a different way because we're in a different energy, and that's the way to deal with it. We'll be talking a lot more about that too. So that's the Phoenix Rising. It it talks about difficult times and rising above. We're resilient beings. We rise above, and we stumble, and we rise above, and we stumble, and we rise above. And especially right now, it's the time for rising above. It's a time for rising above the energy that we've been stagnant in for tens of thousands of years. Right? New World. Now, this guy I really like because to me it represents a child in the womb, and especially these past few months, I have to say, it seems like there's a lot of these inner child themes coming up for me. And I'll tell you about some of those stories too. Remind me to tell you about John, okay? And I love John. And I could make it a long story, or I can make it a short story, but it'll be an important story. So I don't think I'll be talking about it today, though. You're gonna have to come back and see me for that. And so that's my inner child, and I guess I'll be talking about some inner child stuff. I was always been kind of resistant to that concept, because it was for a long time, and I think it's still it's trendy, to do inner child work. It's trendy. I'm not a trendy type, although I've gone along with a lot of the trends by choice. Just like as we choose everything that we choose to believe it or not to believe. Just like you're filtering me right now. Is this guy for real? Am I going to believe him? I think you should. And, I'm going to learn. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to talk about learning. Well, learning, loving, we're going to talk about. But I'm going to talk about a lot of the things I've learned over the course of my life. And one of them, see now, I'm trying to practice. Let me sit down here for a minute because I might get a little long-winded on this one. I'm trying to practice look into the lens when I speak to you, And of course, it's natural to look down at the screen. So you see how it looks, if it's in focus, if it's still running, all that kind of stuff. And but the key to professionalism would be to look at the lens. And so I'm learning that. Over the course of my life, I've learned lots of different things like that. I've been in various careers and when you start off something new, I started several different things that I wasn't familiar with. I didn't have experience with them. I didn't have any education on them, that sort of thing. Like cooking, for example. I had a gourmet catering business. I I think the only cookbook I think I ever opened was one that I got when I was a little kid. I don't know how old I was, maybe a little kid anyway. I had to put a step stool up against the counter to reach the stove to fry an egg. You know, like kindergarten, first grade, so it was small. And I got a birthday present, which was a cookbook. It was a little kid's cookbook. So I looked through it, read it like a kid's book. Uh, it had how to fry an egg and how to boil water, maybe, I don't know, 20 pages, that kind of thing. But I don't think I've ever opened up a cookbook since then. And I've often wondered, and I've had, other careers too, that they just kind of developed naturally. They developed out of having an instinct, like feeling a desire for it, feeling a like for it, and a need to express it. So anyway, I know what that's like. I've been through it before. But still, when it came to making a YouTube video, and now did I already tell you about the other? I already made one video. I think I did. It's called, it was a different theme, right? It was You the Boss. And if you want to find out why it was called You the Boss, you can go look at it. And I think you'll find it to be fascinating. When this video is done, there's going to be a little box somewhere on the side of my head, because that's one of the things I learned how to do in my weeks of learning how to make a video. And it's going to say, the name of the video is Why Me? Okay? And so there'll be lots of reasons why you're going to want to watch it. And one of them might be because I started talking about my husband Sid a little bit, and on that video I have, because we're going to get to that here too. I'm going to get to his picture at some point, may not be today, and I'll introduce you, and I have, a zillion stories about Sid. Sid used to read people who had passed over, like the Long Island Medium, Caputo, yeah. Long Island Medium. We used to watch her for a long time. Anyway, Sid used to do that kind of stuff. We'd run into people. Anyway, he was the character. Sid was abducted by aliens a few times. So there's a lot of interesting things I'm going to tell you about him. And probably about a lot of the people, because by learning about them, you're going to learn about me. So I'm going to continue with that. I'm pretty sure we already talked about the Phoenix. Yep, I think we talked about the inner child, and this one's next. This one is a, I guess they call it a charcoal drawing, and that goes back to, the date is on there, 1999. And that actually 1999, that's the first year that I met my husband Sid, and we were together for 17 years before he passed away. But that's the year I met him, and a couple of weeks after we met, he moved in with me the same day that we met, and we were together like glue, inseparable. I'm gonna do better. You're gonna notice by the end of this video, I'm just gonna keep looking in the lens, so you'll feel like I'm talking to you. Anyway. That picture was drawn by my son Charles. He was 11 years old at the time when I met Sid, and so a couple of weeks after Sid had moved in, it was time. I was divorced from Charles's mother, so we used to like alternate weekends. And this was the summertime, so Charles was coming over more often for longer periods, but he wasn't due to come for a couple of weeks. And when he finally did, Sid was a nervous wreck. He's like, "Oh, how do I look? Okay, relax." It was like almost like he was on a date. He was a nervous wreck. But anyway, they really hit it off. And so when a few months later, when Sid's birthday came up, Sid was a Virgo. I'm a Gemini. Virgo and Geminis, well, we're both ruled by Mercury, and we're both. No, we're not both air signs. I'm an air sign. Sid is an earth sign, Virgo. So anyway, when his birthday came up, Charles drew that for him, and we've had it ever since in all the different places that we have lived, and it's always held a place of prominence. on the wall and in our hearts, as does all of these items that mean a lot of special things to us. So there's another one of my moons. And there's a sun. Every wall is going to have at least one moon, one sun. This particular sun was a Christmas tree ornament, and well, it still is a Christmas tree ornament, but it's not on a Christmas tree. It's hanging on the wall. And Sid used to go nuts for Christmas, and so we had piles and piles and boxes and bags and all kinds of Christmas stuff, and we'd listen to Christmas music in the summertime, and I'm not even making that up. He loved it so much, and we had all kinds of decorations, and he wouldn't even wait till Thanksgiving. I don't know, it'd be like not long after his birthday in September. Well, no, first we had to get through Halloween, because he was nuts about Halloween too, and spent weeks decorating, and then weeks tearing it down, and same thing with Christmas. So right after Halloween came down, it was time to decorate for Christmas. I have lots of interesting stories to tell you about Sid, but I didn't want to make this a real long video so that you get bored with it, but I did want to introduce you to myself, and say hope I see you again sometime. Namaste.